I'm Bob Meyer. I've been in this parish for longer probably than anybody because I was baptized here in 1923 and I'm 85 years old now, so you can figure that out. When Dorothy and I got married, we didn't get married here. We got married down St. Stephen's. We had to get permission from this church to get married down there because Dorothy lived on Portland Avenue, 3036 Portland, and that was and I lived on 1900 3rd Avenue South, and she went to St. Stephen's and I went to St. Stephen's because it was very closer than coming out here. So we got permission, got married down there, and in 1947, after we got married, we lived down that area for a little while and then moved up here at 3745 Lindale Avenue South and bought a home, and we've been there ever since. So that's almost explains that how long we've been in the house for 58, which is a long time. Painted that house 6 times or better. I don't know how I did it. Dorothy and I we raised 6 children here, 2 boys. Well, we'll put it this way, a boy in the beginning, 4 girls, and a boy on the end. And we've been married it'll be 62 years in October. That's if it lasts. And different things I remember about the parish. I think it was a Cana that they called it, get-togethers. We had 3 parts of that. You did the cleanup work, or you did the serving, or you did the planning. And of course we were chosen one time not to do the planning. I can't remember what we did, but nobody wanted to get the planning business because you had to think about that. So that worked out, but that was kind of fun. I worked nights in the bakery, and that was more or less our entertainment for the month, because like everybody else in that time, nobody had any money, so that was good. I think Father Toohey was here then. Now, one of the things I remember about Father Toohey that I'll never forget, I don't know why, one Sunday he was really upset about something, but they were coming out with Senate toilet tissue, and he could not understand why we had to have toilet tissue that has a odor to it. so anyway, that was one of the things. And also, Father Toohey, he said, when you people make out your checks for the church, he said, don't write Incarnation Church, write the Church of Incarnation. That's the way you're supposed to do it. So I've been doing it ever since that way. And he was quite a priest. One of the priests that I remember is Father Ketzner. I think he baptized our youngest son, John. And I told him, I said, I'll never remember that name, Father. Oh, he said, that's so easy. He says, Ketz, German for a cat, jumped on a mare, caused a wreck. Ketzner wreck. So how simple that was. So you remember that. So anyway, that's one of the stories there. Let's see if I can think of something else. You had mentioned Father Mertz. I remember I read his book that he wrote. I can't remember the name of it now. I thought it was quite a juicy book, though. I think it was a priest that had fallen away or was thinking about going away, different things like that. I can't remember just what it was, I don't remember. But also going back to the school days, when George, our oldest son, will be 59 years old this year, when he started school at the Incarnation, the tuition was $25. And when Mary came along, our second child, it was for the 2 of them, it was $35. I don't remember how the prices went up afterwards, but I know they went up because everything changed pretty rapidly after that. I was raised by my grandparents. I was raised in Melrose, Minnesota, so that was on a 40-acre farm. And when my mother married my stepdad, I would spend my summers out on the farm and until World War II started, I went out to the farm every year, and then, of course, after my grandparents died, both of them, and my aunt had the property and sold it, but that was Melrose is where I was more or less raised. But I lived right down 1903rd Avenue South most of my life, you know. It was I traveled a small world. At that time, the public schools, they let you out one day a week to go to somebody's home for catechism and did it in the afternoon. Well, I think it was right after school.
Oh,
some lay person had it, and it was around like 3:15, and then we went to this person's house for about an hour and took catechism lessons. And of course, to get my first confirmation, or my confirmation, I think, was down at St. Stephen's. I can't remember the bishop there, but all I know is shaking my boots said he was going to ask me a question. They would come through and ask you questions, you know. And I don't remember who the bishop was then at that time. In fact, I don't even remember who was the head priest here. Somebody told me here not too long ago. There you go, you asked me a good question there. I went to a wedding, a friend that worked, and I come all dressed up, and it was a 5 o'clock mass, I think, and the guy says, would you want to help with ushering? Oh, sure, I can do that. He says, you come to Miss Mass? Yeah. I said, would you want to be usher? Help out with ushering? Yeah, I could do that. So there were 7 of us. That was the first week. The second week there was 6. Next week was 5. It wasn't long. I was head usher in the evening. That's how it goes. I always laugh at it. So from that time on, it must be 45 years that I've been ushering off and on, because we had a lake place at summertime I didn't usher. So, but seen some changes there. I worked on the Oktoberfest from the time it started. My favorite job there was pot of gold. I liked that the best. I worked in the meat, helped with the meat in the kitchen and different things. And latter years, I worked on the Oktoberfest with the selling flowers over at in the school here, you know. Mm-hmm. And I had a guarantee. I said, every flower or plant that I sell, they're guaranteed to live or die trying. So that was a guarantee. Actually, most women had hats at that time, and if they didn't, they would put a hanky over the top of their head. But thinking about what women wore, I even went down one Easter and bought my wife a hat. I saw a little lady wear it, and I saw this hat, and I said, would you try this hat on? She put it on. I said, oh, that looks good. I bought it for my wife for Easter, I remember that. So, yes, we never came to church without a tie and suit on, you know, and women always wore hats, and I don't know if they wore gloves or not, but everybody was more or less dressed up, you know. Now they don't. In fact, there were times when the mini skirts came out, I was ushering and, you know, looked the other way. Well, we had our missals were half Latin and half English, so we could, if you didn't know the Latin, you could follow it with the English. But when I started here, the first year, I don't think it was on very long, we used to have to put a quarter down, or didn't have to, but I mean the quarter down when you come in church to get what they call seat offering. I don't know if they stopped that afterwards, but I always thought, well, you have to pay a quarter to get a seat, you know, because people had their places where they sat. Each person had their name, you know. The old timers. I don't know if your dad was here that long, but there was a little thing that they had their name, Riley or whatever it was.
Really?
That's where they sat. I mean, that was their seat. Well, I don't know, but anyway, that's how they had their table there, and you were supposed to kind of put a quarter on, and then you could sit anywhere. But if that person came in, you got out of his place, as I remember right.